for a CD. And I'll be quite honest with you, I didn't think I would be doing this again. For 16 years, I had no desire to even play at all or sing after I quit. I say quit, but getting into the radio and everything, the music stuff was just, I had no desire. Honestly, I had no desire to write, no desire to sing, no desire to play, and I was okay with that because I had a desire to do what God wanted to do, and I was growing with the Lord. I was learning. I was just growing with my relationship. And not having a desire didn't bother me because I was growing with that. But in about, I want to say around 2016, I was filling in for bass. I was playing bass. But I still didn't have a desire to play or anything. But I was going ahead and doing some gigs with some of the bands that we had coming through the radio station. And it was 2016. This was a life-changing thing for me because we were coming back from South Carolina. And we just played, I was playing with the Renos. And it was a Southern gospel thing that they did. And I hate Southern gospel music. I just do. It's not my thing. I was raised on it, but I don't like it. I just really don't. That's how I learned to play, but it's not my thing. Sorry. I'm just telling the truth here. Lord help us. No, seriously. So we're going to we're coming back through, and there's a pilot truck stop. We stop to get fuel. It's 1:45 in the afternoon, and I'm not going to keep you here long. I just got to set this up before I start going through the songs. But it's 1:45 in the afternoon, and there's a church right next to the pilot. And the guy says, we're going to church. And I'm like, at 2 o'clock? Who has church at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? And he said, no, we're going to go. I said, well, y'all go. I'm going to stay on the bus. Because I'm in my Saints pants, man. I got my Saints sleep pants on, T-shirt. I didn't bring enough clothes. Just enough clothes for the... And Rollins like always fussing at me. You bring more clothes than you need. You always do that. I brought just enough. And so finally I felt like, man, y'all paid for everything. I need to go. So unroll my jeans that I wore the night before out of the suitcase, get in there, put the T-shirt on. So all I had was a radio T-shirt. We get in there, and I don't know these people. I've never been there. First song out the box, man, my hands are up in the air. I'm worshiping. And Nathan looks at me, he looks over and he said, it looks like God was just pouring a bucket on me. Just pouring into me. I was empty is what I was. Because I'd been given and given and given and given and hadn't really been getting back in because I'm on the radio every day just pouring and pouring and pouring what God's given into me. I'm pouring and pouring. So at the same time, after the worship service is over, the guy comes off the platform, and it's Brother Pierce is who it is. And he starts telling the lady something right there about a check. And now, then he addresses me. He looks at me, he says, there's a tax going on in your body. He said, there's a family relationship that needs to be repaired, and you're going to lose about 20, 25 pounds, you're going to feel better. Well, okay, a tax in my body, that's general, but my knee was bone on bone, that was the truth. Family relationship, everybody's got that, man, But at the time, I was having problems with one of my children, but then 20, 25 pounds, I'm a big guy, come on. If I lose some weight, sure I'm going to feel better. So, but I've been around people that prophesy, I've been around people that prophet lies, so I'm good with all of that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. But then he stood up on a chair. Now, this is me talking to God saying, this is all general. But he stood up on a chair and he pointed at me, directly at me. He said, you got a nickname that you go by that nobody hardly knows. At that point, I say, okay, God, whatever you want to say next, I'm listening. Because not only does he not know my nickname, but the people I'm with they don't know my name. They don't even know my birth name. It's on my driver's license, right? They just know me as Hunter Logan, which I ripped off from my youngest son, who's here today, by the way. It's actually his name. I took it as a stage name. But seriously, they don't know that name. They don't know it. And I'm like, okay, God, whatever you have to say, I'm ready to receive it. So all the stuff that he said came to pass. It really did. So it's a month later. That was September 4th of 2016. It's a month later. October 9th, 2016. I'm in the radio station working on a Sunday afternoon. And I'm just watching the services. Like, I started watching them after 2 p.m. And watching what he's doing, I'm writing. He says, Brother Logan, if you're listening. I'm like, what? On the internet, really? And I haven't talked to him. And this is where I'm going with this. He said, there's new songs coming out of you. And he said, you'll be known in high places, but you'll have an humble spirit. Thus saith the Holy Spirit. And that's what he said. New songs coming out of you. I still don't have a desire to play and write. I don't. But that's what he said. So 2020 comes about. And all of a sudden, I write my first song. So I get a call to go do a songwriter showcase with some friends of mine. The guy that does the showcase, this countdown on the radio station, and the guy who's our publicist at the radio station, who's a songwriter. They said, man, come on up here. I said, okay, I want to write a song. See, by this time, I'm starting to get that little urge now. I'm starting to get playing again because I got some guitars now. I brought a backup tonight, but I'm going to play the Taylor. And the reason I'm going to play that here is because Brother Pierce, the man I was telling you about that prophesied, he's the one who gave me that guitar when I stopped visiting later. And so I'm going to do the songs on this guitar tonight. But we got to Montego, Tennessee, did the show, and I didn't have no Christian songs to do. I'm going through my catalog. Okay, what did I write in the swamp pop world that I can sing? That's not too bad. What Christian song do I know that I can maybe swamp pop up or something and, do it my style? That's what I had to do. So the next day, though, I said, guys, I want to write a song. So I seen a meme on Facebook. And it said, you can't shack up with the devil and expect Jesus to pay the rent. So I said, that's what I want to write this song about. And Steve was like, man, I don't know if that's going to work. He didn't say that out loud to me, but he said, I don't know if that's going to work. But he said, we'll go ahead and write it. And he said, Hunter, do you have a melody or something? I said, yeah, I got something I want to work with. So he said, okay. So we sat and we wrote it. Now, that's my list, so I know what song I'm doing. I won't remember. So when we did it, we wrote it. Nobody ever heard it yet. It was just we wrote it. February comes. We're in 2020 now, right? February comes. Now he's got a benefit to do. I have some stuff to do for him. Like I have to bring him some equipment. He says, well, come help me out with the benefit. I'm like, all right. Sing a few songs. I'm okay. Because now I'm like, I'm going to do this, man. I'm like, we'll do this. It's no pressure. I'm not looking to go back on the road and be an artist. Still not looking on the road to do that. I'm just doing what God called me to do. So I get over there, and it's the second song I'm doing. I'm only doing 3. And I said, okay. Here's a song I wrote. And, Steve and Randy. And I said, look, if you like it, I guess I'll have to go to Nashville and record it. If you don't like it, please don't throw anything. And I said, it's so new that my wife hasn't even heard it yet. And she hadn't heard it yet. She really hadn't. So that's what I'm going to do for you. The first Christian song I ever wrote. But before I do that, I got to tell you this. I got an Alexa. I got 2 of them. So when the CD came about, I'm so excited because I always wanted to do this. And I'm like, Alexa, play Hunter Logan. did you? I'm like, Alexa, play Hunter Logan gospel music. Don't deny me, baby. I'm like, that was my last album in 2005. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with you. You're going to have to get it. So here's the first song that I wrote. This Christian song that led to a whole album that I'm going to do for you. Brother, I was with you that Sunday you got saved. But other than going to church, ain't nothing much about you changed. Been hearing you complaining, I'm gonna set you straight, my friend. You can't shack up with the devil, expect Jesus to pay the rent. Well, you pay your check every weekend, only put $1 when you pass the plate. You can't get to church on Sunday, but to the bar you're never late. Well, that big old house living in is gonna turn into a tent. You can't shack up with the devil, expect Jesus to pay the rent. Might sound condescending, but I know just where you've been. Jesus is still knocking, but you won't let him in. Can't keep cutting corners if you're gonna live your life for him. You can't shack up with the devil, expect Jesus to pay the rent. Paycheck every weekend, only put $1 when you pass the plate. Can't get to church on Sunday, but to the bar you're never late. Well, that big old house living in is gonna turn into a tent. You can't shack up with the devil, expect Jesus to pay the rent. You can't shack up with the devil, expect Jesus to pay the rent. Thank you. So I get in this thing now, I'm writing songs, and I'm like, wow. And I didn't think I had anything to say. And then all this stuff just starts coming, and God just starts giving me all this stuff. And I just started writing, and all of a sudden, I have a CD out with 13 original songs. And out of all the songs I get, I have one song, I have a melody, and I don't have a song, I don't have lyrics to go with it. And, but a friend of mine has some lyrics to go with it. Miss Betty here, she wrote a mama song on the CD, and it's on there. And I didn't have it on the list tonight to do it, but I'm just going to let y'all know she is a great song. She gave me this in 2010. Was it 2010? 2010. And I held on to it. And I'm like, Lord have mercy, what am I doing with this song? And I just happened to find it. And I'm like, I'm going to sing this. It's going to work. And it worked. So I was able to put that song on there. And it's about your mom, wasn't it? If I'd known for sure you would have come, I would have definitely put that on the list. But I'm telling y'all that to make sure. And with those of you who have the CD, that's the lady that wrote the words for that song. But everything else, that's you're looking at it. I just wanted to make that known. So I heard a preacher preach a sermon. And he said, are you a planter or a waterer? But God gives the increase. So I had to think about, what am I doing? Am I a planter or am I a waterer? Am I one that gets my hands dirty, or am I the one that just goes by and waters stuff? Or do I do both sometimes? And I thought about that. So when this came about, I wrote a song about it. And it goes like this. There are times people come into our lives free too. If you didn't get a ticket, you need to raise your hand so you can get one. I'll tell you what the tickets are for. We have some mountain cabin giveaways we're doing. We're going to do 3 of them, actually. So you have a chance to win one. It's in Monteagle. And so I need a ticket to call. I'll do one
Here,
now.
you can call this one.
You call that?
She didn't get one.
Hey, Loretta didn't get one? Give her one.
I need a mountain cabin giveaway.
What do you think?
I need one too. I don't know if you all get one.
Oh, one per couple?
You know, everybody gets one.
Thank you. I was licking my lips.
I said, wait.
And the number is, no, I don't have the number. Okay, somebody's going. And by the way, it's good till the end of the year, so you got to the end of the year. The last 3 are 7, 8, 9.
I got it.
You got
That means you're gonna take mom and daddy.
it. So,
Mom and daddy.
not to keep it confusing, but this is a true story here. So, I got both of my dads here, and but my one, I used to say my stepdad and my dad a long time ago, but now I just say my dad, so people get confused because I got one dad that comes and helps me work on stuff, but John came to the station one day because I needed to cut some pews down. So I have some pews. If you hadn't come to the station and seen them, I got pews from a church. I actually bought some pews from a church. So we're cutting them in half, and when he takes the side off, 2 bobby pins and 35 cents fall out. And I'm like, man, that's a song title right there. So I just type that in my phone, and I hold it. And when it comes time to write the songs, I'm like, oh yeah, the 2 bobby pin thing. Well, I couldn't fit the 35 cents in the song, but I was able to put the 2 bobby pins in. Now, for those of you who don't know, that's how those people back in the day in the Pentecostal churches, that's how you could tell if you had a good service. Is if the bobby pins were on the floor, when the people shaking their hair and the Holy Ghost fell, and they were like, oh, it was good. So they had bobby pins. Now, after cleaning the church today, I got a second song I'm going to write as a follow-up. I don't know what a toenail on the carpet has to do with anything, but somebody clipped their toenail. Somebody sat here and clipped the toenail. And so that's going to be my follow-up. So I wrote this song called 2 Bobby Pins. Well, I was taking part in old review, bought from a preacher that I knew. Stood many years once, people stood and shout, rolled to the floor, 2 bobby pins fell out. Some say you could tell when they church on the floor. Fill up the barrel tank and bring out the snakes before anybody else can get out the door. Said we need some more body bends to fall on the floor. Thank you. Now, I had a friend come in my office one day, and we were talking about evangelist people, the televangelists, and people that just got some weird stuff, whack stuff going on. And he said, you know, I had a friend of mine, the friend of mine was telling me, he said he had a friend tell him that, you know, he said some of those preachers just got a little bit of Jesus and a whole lot of con. And I'm like, man, I'm going to write a song about that too. I'm telling you, I just find stuff, God just, you know, I'm just holding stuff. And it's writing fit just comes over me, man. I'm like I said, I didn't know what was going on at the time because I'm like, just, stuff just hits me. But I said, I'm going to write, I'm going to hold that, I'm going to write it. But I held that title, and it wasn't like, it was probably about 4 years I held the title. I just was holding that title. I just knew that was a song title some kind of way. And so when it came time to write it, this is what I came up with. What does the church look like today? The preacher got his hand out, smiles and says, for a little bit of money, blessing is on its way. One's got a miracle handkerchief, the other flask of holy water has it. Any of that's gonna make a real difference. Whoa, whoa, that ain't the way it should be. That's not why Jesus died for you and me. I don't think every red many will lose John. Oh no, there's just a little bit of Jesus and a whole lot of calm. Well, grace doesn't give you a license to sin, but the church and God whirling and let it in. Still love the sinner, and now they love sin too. Jacked up, anything goes. People on the platform, hardly no clothes. It's all entertainment, preacher putting on a show. Whoa, whoa, that ain't the way it should be. That's not why Jesus died for you and me. I don't think every red man will lose John. Oh no, there's just a little bit of Jesus and a whole lot of calm. I thought I was going to do some Creedence Clearwater right there. Fine mansions all around with low jet planes to take them everywhere they go. They got a habit to do the work of the Lord. I wonder what he'll tell me when he comes back. Will he give him a mansion? Will he give him a shack? Or will he just say, see you later, Jack? Whoa, that ain't the way it should be. That's not why Jesus died for you and me. And I don't think every red man will lose John. Oh no, there's still a little bit of Jesus and a whole lot of calm. So the name of this CD is The Prodigal. And the reason it is called The Prodigal, much like a lot of folks are prodigals. I call my generation the prodigal because a lot of us are. Raised in church, leave church, come back. But I call this The Prodigal Comes Home because here, not this particular church, but the people in this church that I go with, the musicians on the stage, they're a little bit older now, but when I was 10 years old, they let me play. This is actually on the corner of Davis Street and North Cutting. That's where I got to play guitar. That's where I started playing guitar at 10 years old. And I was able to play with them. They let me play. As a kid, they let me play lead guitar. I got to play in church, and I played in church. And kept playing, and kept getting better, and kept getting better, kept playing. And they let me play right along. And we seen some great services. We had some of them bobby pin services. Then we had a new church on Airport Road. That church kind of split in half. And then we ended up in Lake Arthur, a little town down the road. Met my wife over there. And then we had one of those blowout services. And I'll never forget it. I'm 18 years old, standing up there playing. And this lady stands up. We had one of them great services. And she said, "Boy," and she I'm gonna give it away now. So she says, "Boy, I enjoyed Brother Winky's playing." See, everybody knows me here as Winky. It's all family and friends. So she said, "I enjoyed Brother Winky's playing." And then she said, "I enjoyed it last night at Phyllis's too." Well, Phyllis's was the bar in Lake Arthur. So Saturday night I had been at the bar with my band, and then Sunday I was up on stage at church. But very seriously, I told God that night, I said, okay, I won't do both. I won't be on both sides of the fence. Because I know there was a verse in the Bible that said he would spew you out of his mouth if you were lukewarm. And I said, well, I'm not going to do both. I'm either going to follow you or I won't. And I chose not to. I chose my own path. And from that point on, I didn't. I didn't go back to church. I went and did my own thing. And floundered around a bit and went to the military and all that stuff. But I pretty much made a mess out of my life, really. I really did. And then I came back. Came back and through a journey and stuff. And then look where I'm at. With the same people that gave me my start. So it's the prodigal comes home. That's why I call it the prodigal comes home. So the prodigal, which is the title of the CD, I wrote a song called The Prodigal. It's basically my testimony in song. I don't even know and it's actually the hardest song to play for me. Not that it tears me up, it's just the hardest one to play chord-wise. I don't know what I was thinking. So I'll see if I can get through it. I was raised in a Christian home. I was taught right from wrong. I learned to play guitar. I played in church and bars. That's when I started to stray and do things my own way. I wasn't gonna hurt no one. I was out to have my fun. I thought I was something, played So, Mama, I know it's Mother's Day, Roland, and I want to thank you for taking me to church every day, like you did, and praying for me. Because I know you prayed a lot, you told me that, and doing everything you did. So, I didn't forget about you. I never forget about you. That's my mother, ladies and gentlemen. So, the first miracle, water in the wine. I love that. I always wanted to write a song about it. I hear people talk about it all the time. People like to use it as an excuse to drink. People, look, you can get into it, and I'm not going to get into it because I've studied this. I can debate on it. I can do all kinds of things with it. The purpose of that whole miracle, and people miss this a lot. I'm serious. If you know anything about wine, and I'd happen to, because when we were in Germany got some of the best wine, I'm telling you. And we get it delivered to that. Where we live, we could get it delivered. Like, we couldn't speak German, and that dude didn't speak English. But he would come every 2 weeks and slap a paper on the door. We'd circle what we want, and we'd have a couple of cases delivered. And that's how I learned to drink wine. I started learning about it. The fermentation process takes a long time. And there's molecules that have to switch for all that yeast and everything. I mean, it's complicated. It really is. If you look at the scientific part of how that breaks down, the whole fermentation process, and how long it takes a long time to make a fine wine. I mean, y'all, some of y'all older people like me, remember that commercial in the 70s? Paul Masson was selling no wine before it's time. Remember that? So I had to keep that. I had to put that in the song too, of course. So I kept that, but the true miracle was the transition of time. Because he made that water into wine like that. Taking a span of time, and boom. That was the real miracle right there. So, of course, I had to write a song about the transition of time, and that's what it's called. But I had to put that commercial in there somehow. Like that. Well, you say Jesus first, miracle gives you the right. Drink your beer or have your wine just any old time you like. But you don't know the meaning of the miracle in any sense. Was We're doing a Bible study in Matthew 24 and 5. And it says, some people would come in my name saying they're the Christ. And we were talking, and I'm saying, there's some preachers that act that way too. They don't say they're the Christ, but they act like it. And so I'm catching some flack. I've caught some flack over this song, but it's okay. Because it's not all preachers that are like that. I want to make that stipulation for those of you listening out there. But there are some, they try to be the advocate for you. And 1 John 2:1 says, we clearly have an advocate, and it's Jesus is the advocate, not man. So that really stuck with me. And for a couple of days, I mulled that over, thinking about how, some people just are like that. You can't brush your teeth or wash your hair without getting permission or something. I don't know. I'm just saying that some preachers take it to that way. They have to hear, you have to hear from God from them. And it's not like that. So one thing you're going to find out about me, I can't stand legalism in religion. And I'll speak out against it every chance I get. I do. I do it on the radio every day. So I wrote this song called He Ain't Jesus. And there's a video out about it. I haven't released it yet. Well, it's been played on some stations and stuff, but I hadn't put it on any of my pages yet. Not because I'm scared to or anything. I just hadn't done it. Actually, I don't know how to do it, I think. But this is the song, He Ain't Jesus. And like I said, it's not, I'm not explaining it to, it's not directed at anybody who, I'll put it to you this way. I got some artist friends who minister for a living. Like they came down on me. They're like, "You're killing us." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you're taking a shot at us and you too, pointing at me." He's like, "We depend on people to support us." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. Isn't God your provider? Right? He might use people to provide for you. They might support your ministry. But isn't it God that's the provider, not man? So what you're telling me is that man is the provider. That's what you're saying, right? Well, no, that's not what I'm saying, but people are going to take it wrong. They need preachers. I said, in the song, I never said they didn't need a preacher. I never said that in the song. I never said that they don't need a preacher. I just said some preachers is all I said. So, don't take it out of context, but you can be the judge yourself. You can either like it or you don't like it. It's too late. It's published and out there. Preacher preaching, you're going to hell. He can't follow the rules himself. He ain't Jesus, even though he thinks so. Likes to tell you what you need to do. Rules and regulations only apply to you. Hey, Jesus, even though he thinks so. Hey, would you let me see those nail scars in your hands? Show me that piercing in your side if you think you can. Take those shoes off if there's some holes in your feet. That's exactly what I thought. You don't look like Jesus to me. No. You mindlessly follow everything he spews. Help him build his kingdom while you're being used. Jesus, even though he thinks so. Tithe and pay, give all that you make, so he can live a life of luxury today. Jesus, even though he thinks so. Preacher, let me see those nail scars in your hands. Show me that piercing in your side if you think you can. Take those shoes off if there's some holes So, a lot of people, when I run across all kind of people through the radio station, especially a lot of different artists from different backgrounds, different religions, different walks of life. And a lot of them freak out when they find out that I'm Holy Ghost filled, tongue talking. And they're like, you? But you seem so normal. I'm like, normal? Yeah, man, you're not crazy. I'm like, crazy? What do you mean? Because I'll tell them, when they find out. I mean, I'll lay hands on somebody to drop of a hat. I ain't scared. You pray, I'll cast a demon out of you if I have to. But, I mean, I don't go around Bible thumping people either. There's no need for that. I mean, and I tell them, I said, look, they had to kiss, Judas even had to kiss Jesus for them to recognize him. That just tells you how ordinary Jesus went about. Now, when Jesus did a healing or something, you knew who he was. When Jesus had to walk the walk or talk the talk, you knew it. But any other time, he was just Jesus. He was hanging out. He was like everybody else. So that's why I said, man, I'm like, but he's like, you don't. And I'm like, yeah, they're made, but I'm a faith walking, tongue talking, Holy Ghost preacher man. That's what I am. I'll tell everybody about Jesus every chance I can. Amen. So I wrote a song just about that, telling who I am. We need to give away another trip here before I do something else. I forgot. I keep going and talking, forget everything. Bring that up to me, little girl. That's my granddaughter, one of them. All right, somebody's going somewhere. 807. 807. 807. Well, all right, boy.
I've been going somewhere.
Oh, well, yeah.
Thank y'all.
So, hey, we got one more. We got one more to get. Let's get that away because I'm down to my last one.
I need a vacation too.
We give one more away. I got 3 of them. These are good to the end of the year, by the way, folks. So you got one more. Here we go. 778. Ah, there you go. I seriously want to thank y'all for coming out tonight. I got one more song for y'all. I told y'all I wasn't going to keep y'all long.
Okay, Lori, because you gotta take your favorite niece.
You better be taking me too.
But I'll take somebody because my husband won't go up.
I ain't getting in all that. Seriously, thank y'all for coming out. I got one more song for you, but we got some stuff here. It's gonna help if you'd like to get some. I heard this last night, so I'm gonna steal it from now on. Some of y'all were there, so. But from now on, I'm gonna use this. If you like something you heard, go ahead and get some product there. Get a CD. If you didn't like anything you heard, go ahead and buy one anyway and give to somebody you don't like. So I thought that was pretty good. I told her, I said, I'm gonna steal that from now on and use that every time I go somewhere. Great. This last song is probably my favorite song off the CD. I have a friend of mine in Tyler, Texas. Our ministries kind of run parallel, and she has a radio station that's built off of my framework as well. We're partnered with, but I call her 10 Talent Shelly. Her name's Shelly Wilson, but she has so many talents. She does, and she writes poems as well. But there was a poem that she wrote, and I'd seen it. And so I called her up and I said, is that thing published or anything? She said, no. I said, I would like to put that to music, but I would have to write a verse in order to do it. And I said, I don't want to mess up anything you've done. So I said, if you're okay. She said, no, go ahead. I said, well, I'll write the chorus. So I had to write a chorus, not a verse. So I'll write a chorus for it, and I'll let you approve it, make sure you're okay with it before I'll, do it. And she said, yeah. Okay. So I went ahead and I wrote a chorus to it. And then I sent it back to her and she said, yeah, that's great. So the poem was called The Vessel. And it just says what I want to be. And that's all I am, is a vessel for Christ. And he fills me up. He pours me out. He fills me up, he pours me out. That's what I'm all about now. It's truly what I do. Man, if he needs me to be a DJ, I'm a DJ. If he needs me to sing a worship song, I'll sing a worship song. If he needs me to teach, I'll teach. If he needs me to preach, I'll preach. If he needs me to go, I'll go. Whatever he wants, that's what I want to do. I am to the point now that it is not about me, it is about him. And I think that whole 16 years is what Sitting Me Down was about. Because for 16 years, I promoted other artists. Not myself. I had to push other artists. I wouldn't play, I wouldn't sing, I didn't do anything except promote other artists. And there was a reason for that. There was a lot of stuff God had to get out of me. And I thank God he did, because my whole mentality and outlook is different now. And I just am grateful. I'm telling you, this is the truth. My wife knows this is the God honest truth. There is no way I would sit here and do this in front of friends and family. I would not be this comfortable, and I would clam up. 2 or 3 people, I would not do it. People I know, that y'all know me, and I know y'all, there's no way I would sit here and do this. It's the truth. People I don't know, a crowd of people, I got no problem. People I know, there's no way I'm going to sit and do this. No way. And I've had such a great time with y'all. And this doesn't bother me anymore at all. It doesn't bother me. I mean, it's cool because I'm just going to do what God says to do. And whatever he says to do, that's what I'm going to do. And that's why this song here I guess it's my favorite because, one, I like the tune. And it's really done, all these songs are done good on the CD. I mean, you got more instrumentation than me just playing them. I just wanted to explain the songs and what happened behind them. And I wanted you to know the change that I went through coming back to where I was. So I hope tonight that you understand some of the stuff or anything touched you at all or say, well, you know, we made it back okay anyway. It's called The Vessel. Sometimes I'm a shepherd. Sometimes I'm a preacher. Sometimes I'm a writer. Sometimes I'm a singer. Sometimes I'm a prophet. Sometimes I'm a seer. Sometimes I'm a watchman and a worship leader, but I'm always a vessel to be used by the Lord. Fill me up and pour me out is what I'm all about. I'm always a vessel. Sometimes I'm a warrior. Sometimes a brother's keeper. Sometimes I'm a writer. Hey, sometimes I'm a teacher. Sometimes I'm a psalmist. Sometimes a snake killer. But I'm always a vessel. Christ the life giver. You know I'm always a vessel to be used by the Lord. Fill me